My brother is telling the truth. Those 6 words echoed through the courtroom. I couldn't believe they came from my own mother. She wouldn't even look at me. Instead, she kept her eyes on the judge, pretending she believed every lie Ethan had just told. I felt my hands shaking under the table. For 32 years, I had protected my little brother. Now he was trying to destroy my life, and my parents were helping him. The judge adjusted his glasses. He looked at Ethan. So your testimony is that your brother forged these documents? Ethan nodded without hesitation. Yes, Your Honor. I trusted him. He stole everything from me. My stomach twisted. Everything he had just said was a lie. Every single word. I wanted to interrupt. I wanted to scream. But my attorney gently touched my arm. Not yet. I took a deep breath. The truth had survived for years. It could survive a few more minutes. What none of them knew was that someone in that courtroom had already brought proof. Proof no one expected. Proof that would change everything. But before I tell you about that moment, you need to understand how my own brother became my greatest enemy. My name is Daniel Carter. I grew up in a quiet neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. From the outside, we looked like the perfect family. Dad owned a small construction company. Mom stayed home. Ethan and I shared a bedroom until high school. Neighbors always said we were lucky. They had no idea what happened behind closed doors. From the time Ethan was little, my parents treated him differently. If he broke something, they laughed. Boys will be boys. If I made one mistake, I was grounded. When Ethan failed math, Dad hired him a private tutor. When I needed help paying for college applications, Dad shrugged. You'll figure it out. So I did. I worked nights, weekends, holidays. By 23, I had earned my accounting degree without asking anyone for another dollar. I wasn't angry, at least not yet. I just accepted that life wasn't fair. Ethan chose a different path. He jumped from one business idea to another. Coffee shop, car detailing, crypto trading, online stores. Every few months he claimed he'd found the next big thing. Every time it failed, my parents blamed someone else. The economy. Bad partners. Jealous people. Never Ethan. Never his choices. Whenever he ran out of money, Dad quietly wrote another check. Mom called it helping family. I called it enabling. 10 years after college, I owned a successful accounting firm. Nothing huge, just 12 employees, honest clients, a good reputation. I loved my work because people trusted me. Trust was everything in my profession. Ironically, trust would become the weapon my brother used against me. It started with one phone call. Hey, Dan. It was Ethan. His voice sounded unusually calm. I need your advice. I smiled. Despite everything, he was still my brother. What happened? I'm buying an office building. Congratulations. I just need someone to review the paperwork. Sure. He emailed everything that evening. I spent 3 hours checking contracts. Everything looked normal. I found 2 small errors, corrected them, sent everything back. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it became the beginning of the worst year of my life. 3 months later, 2 detectives walked into my office. Every employee stopped working. The entire room became silent. One detective approached me. Mr. Carter? Yes. We need to ask you a few questions. People stared as they escorted me into a conference room. The older detective placed a stack of documents on the table. Do you recognize these? I looked down. My signature, my firm's letterhead, my approval stamp. Everything looked authentic. Except, I had never approved those papers. My heart skipped a beat. What is this? The detective folded his arms. The bank believes these financial statements were intentionally altered. I looked again. Income numbers had changed. Debt had disappeared. Entire pages had been replaced. Someone had used my work, then changed it afterward. I immediately knew who had done it. Ethan. The detective searched my office, Copied my computer files, collected emails. My staff watched everything. Nobody said a word, but I could feel their fear. By the next morning, 3 clients had already canceled their contracts. Within a week, local news reported that my accounting firm was under investigation. My phone stopped ringing. Potential clients disappeared. Years of hard work, destroyed in days. I drove straight to my parents' house. Dad opened the door. His expression wasn't surprised, almost prepared. I need to talk to Ethan. He's busy. This can't wait. Dad stepped outside and quietly closed the door behind him. You should leave. I stared at him. You know he changed those documents. Dad looked away. You don't have proof? So you believe him? I believe my son. I laughed bitterly. I am your son. His face hardened. Not if you're willing to accuse your own brother. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then the front door opened. Ethan walked onto the porch holding a cup of coffee, completely relaxed. He smiled. You should have minded your own business. That smile told me everything. He wasn't scared. He thought he'd already won. Months passed. The investigation continued. My business barely survived. Some nights I sat alone in my office wondering how my life had collapsed so quickly. Then one afternoon my attorney called. We're going to court. I closed my eyes. So that's it? Not exactly. The bank believes your brother acted alone. But he's claiming you planned everything together. I couldn't believe it. He blamed me? He blamed you for all of it. I hung up and stared through my office window. The city moved normally. People laughed. Traffic flowed. Meanwhile, my own brother had decided sacrificing me was easier than admitting he had failed again. I made one promise to myself that day. I wouldn't destroy him. I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't play his game. I'd simply tell the truth, because the truth was stronger than any story Ethan could invent. Or so I believed. Until the first day of court, when my own parents walked into the courtroom and sat behind him instead of me. At that moment, I realized I wasn't fighting my brother anymore. I was fighting my entire family, and I had no idea they had already planned one final betrayal. The courtroom became completely silent. My parents didn't even glance in my direction. Instead, my mother reached over and squeezed Ethan's hand. My father whispered, "Don't worry. We know you're telling the truth." It felt like someone punched me in the stomach. For years, I had convinced myself they loved us both. Maybe not equally, but enough. That illusion disappeared in a single moment. My attorney, Rebecca Collins, quietly opened her notebook. She leaned toward me. "I need you to stay calm." "I am calm." She gave me a look that said she knew I was lying. "The judge is watching every reaction." I nodded. She was right. This wasn't the time to lose control. It was time to let Ethan keep talking, because every lie creates another opportunity to expose the truth. The judge entered. Everyone stood. After everyone sat down, the judge looked toward Ethan. "Mr. Carter, you remain under oath." Ethan confidently smiled. "Yes, Your Honor." Rebecca stood. "Permission to begin cross-examination." The judge nodded. "You may proceed." Rebecca walked slowly toward Ethan. She wasn't loud. She wasn't dramatic. She simply smiled. "Mr. Carter, how long have you owned Carter Property Solutions?" Ethan smiled. "Almost 3 years." "And your brother helped create the financial reports?" "Yes. He handled everything." Rebecca nodded. "So you trusted him completely?" "Absolutely." "And you never changed those documents?" "No." "You never edited a single page?" "No." "You never altered one number?" "No." Every answer came instantly. Too instantly. Rebecca smiled again. No further questions. I looked at her in confusion. That was it? She returned to our table. "Trust me." The bank's attorney stood next. Unlike Rebecca, he was aggressive. He walked directly toward Ethan. "You testified that Mr. Daniel Carter prepared every financial document. Correct. And you signed them? Yes. You read every page? Yes. So if there were false numbers, they came from him. The attorney stopped walking, then asked quietly, "Can you explain why your fingerprints appear on every altered page?" The courtroom froze. Ethan blinked. My... what? The attorney lifted a forensic report. This report shows fresh fingerprints directly over the altered sections. Ethan looked toward my parents. For the first time, he looked nervous. Dad quickly looked away. Mom stared at the table. Ethan swallowed. I don't know. The attorney smiled. No further questions. A small crack had appeared in Ethan's story, but it wasn't enough. Not yet. During lunch recess, Rebecca and I walked outside. I couldn't stop thinking. He almost slipped. Rebecca nodded. He did. But we need something bigger. I sighed. What if we don't have it? She looked at me. Oh, we have something. We're just waiting. For what? She checked her watch. For someone to arrive. I frowned. Who? She smiled. You'll see. Court resumed an hour later. Just as everyone sat down, the courtroom doors opened. A gray-haired woman carrying 2 storage boxes slowly walked inside. She looked familiar, very familiar. Then I remembered. Linda, my former office manager. She had retired 6 months before everything happened. The judge looked surprised. Counsel? Rebecca stood. Your Honor. We've located a new witness. The judge adjusted his glasses. Proceed. Linda walked to the witness stand. After taking the oath, Rebecca asked, How long did you work for Mr. Daniel Carter? 15 years. Did you have access to company records? Every day. Were company computers password protected? Yes. Who knew Mr. Carter's passwords? Linda hesitated, then pointed directly toward Ethan. Him. The courtroom erupted with whispers. Ethan's attorney immediately stood. Objection. Speculation. Rebecca calmly answered, It isn't speculation. She personally reset those passwords. The judge looked toward Linda. Is that true? Yes. I helped Daniel after Ethan accidentally locked him out of the system. Rebecca asked one more question. Did Ethan ever stay in the office after business hours? Linda nodded. Many times. Sometimes Daniel had already gone home. My heart started racing. Rebecca thanked her, then returned to the table. For the first time all day, the judge wasn't looking at me. He was looking at Ethan. Carefully. Very carefully. After another witness testified, the judge announced a short afternoon break. As everyone stood, Ethan rushed toward my parents. They whispered frantically. Dad looked worried. Mom was crying. Ethan kept shaking his head. No. 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 I couldn't hear everything, but I caught one sentence. What if they find the email? Email? Rebecca looked at me. Did you hear that? I nodded slowly. She smiled. I was hoping he'd say something like that. What do you mean? She opened her laptop. Our investigator found deleted company backups yesterday. My eyes widened. You found deleted files? She nodded. We're still restoring them. What if there's nothing? Rebecca smiled. If Ethan deleted them, there's usually a reason. For the first time in months, I felt hope. Real hope. Just before court resumed, Rebecca's phone vibrated. She read the message, then suddenly stood up. I had never seen her smile like that before. What happened? She slowly turned the phone toward me. One sentence appeared on the screen. Recovery complete. I looked at her. Did they find it? She whispered. They found everything. Emails, timestamps, login records, even security footage. I couldn't breathe. The courtroom doors opened again. The bailiff announced, "All rise." The judge returned. Rebecca carefully placed a small black flash drive on the table. She looked at me and quietly said, "I hope your brother enjoyed lying under oath. Because tomorrow morning, we're going to show the court exactly what he did." Across the room, Ethan noticed the flash drive. His confident smile disappeared. For the very first time, he looked genuinely terrified.